Alright guys, so I got glow shift gauges, wideband air fuel gauge. And it's pretty nice. You got the Bosch O2 sensor that will go on the exhaust exit for the turbo. And then you got the gauge here. I kind of already taken it out of the box, but because this is not exactly how it comes packaged with a white box that goes right here, and then the wiring sits there. You got some more wires, and then a little bitty box looking thing where the wires plugs in, and then again more wires, and then instructions, nuts and bolts and brackets, the usual. Yeah, so and then of course the most important part, the gauge. So all right, this is the controller here, and it's pretty self-explanatory because it has all the labeling. You got the sensor, which is the oxygen sensor slash wideband that plugs into here. Here's this big wiring harness here. It's obvious. Hopefully it's long enough to go all the way in the car. And then analog output. I gotta figure out exactly what that is. This is power. Probably one of the cables that goes from here to like a 12-volt source, like on the paper. And the gauge. You got a cable for the gauge that plugs into here, and then the other side goes into the gauge. And then I think this button here is the calibration. So that grommet that I end up installing into the firewall and putting the hot wire that's right here into, it's still there. It's just not being used anymore. But now it's being used because I'm putting this wire up in here. And I'm glad it has plenty of room to go all the way through down to the bottom. I'm glad it fits in the hole, and it's going all the way into the firewall, and it looks like it's going to stretch all the way to the A-pillar cover. So again, here it is. This is what this looks like. And it fits too. This. update on the gauges and actually the boost gauge. First off, don't mind my truck outside. It's running because I'm charging my phone. But anyways, I got the wideband gauge in there like you saw earlier. And then I took the of course the wire and plugged it in, and then routed it down the A-pillar and then across all of this stuff over here. If y'all can see that, I have my head strap light on, so that way y'all can see a little bit better, I guess. But I got all this wires and cables, you know, running along the gauge cluster area where it used to be. And I have everything plugged into the controller right there. So now all I literally have to do is just wire everything up like I did with the boost controller. Now, speaking of the boost controller, I got it all plugged in. I have to move this red wire to the headlight switch, because whenever I turn the key to the on position, the lights come on. Now, the gauge is going to work whenever the vehicle sees a certain amount of boost or whatever, but the only thing that works right now with the vehicle not running is the lights, and then this button to change to different colors and stuff. But anyhow, the reason why I'm switching it to the headlight switch is simply just because at night I am going to need to use the light setting. That way I can see where the boost is at, because at night I'm not going to be able to if I don't have that feature. Now, another reason too is obviously from the instructions, you're supposed to plug it up to the headlight switch, but I plugged it up to the ignition switch, or the ignition fuse, really, and just to see if it works, and it did. So anyways, I'm gonna have to figure that out, or see if I can use another fuse as a switch to turn this on instead of using the headlight switch here. I could come back here and remove this and then tie the wires together. That way when I flip this on, the light will come up on here. But I gotta figure out which wire controls what. So anyways, back to the wide gauge. So the wide gauge, again, I routed everything over here, and now this is where we're at. Here is the wires here, and basically it is the exact same, almost the exact same procedure as the boost gauge, because I have the wideband instructions here, and then the boost gauge instructions, I have that somewhere back over there, but it's pretty much the same. I mean, almost the exact same. Yellow wire to constant 12-volt source, red wire to ignition switch and 12-volt source, and then orange wire to connect to a positive, what's this say, positive headlight switch source for the orange wire. So yeah, let's get down to it, and then go from there. Okay, so I got that wrong. It's actually the orange wire, not the red wire. But it literally says connect the orange wire to a headlight switch source using a splice connector, either in a fuse box or at the switch itself, which, like I said before, that's probably what I'm gonna do. But again, we'll see what I end up doing, because what I did, I didn't explain this part, but what I did was I took the exposed wire and wrapped it around the fuses in the fuse box, and then just pushed them back up in there and they don't really move for anything. And then that's it. So this is how I have all of the wires connected to the fuses. Again, I just did the same method with the other fuse box, and I just put the fuses back in there. This should work. I got the ground wire connected to this bolt here on the chassis with the existing ground wire. That's routed down there with the wiring harness. And that's pretty much all I did. Alrighty, so everything is plugged up. I'm about to go switch that kill switch on. I know that's pretty rigged up and kind of ugly looking, and honestly may not be the best install, but it works, it functions, and all of that. I was supposed to come over here to the controller and press that button right there where my light is at. Press and hold it for 2 to 3 seconds, and then this will start flashing a couple times. Like it'll have like a loading screen. Matter of fact, I can show you real quick. All right, you see how nothing is on? I put that red wire in the gauge cluster location. That fuse, that red fuse there, that's where I put the wire to this wideband gauge too. That way when I turn the key to the on position, both of the gauges light up. Now you're supposed to reset this, like I said before, every weekend or every other weekend that you're racing or whatever, but reset it often, because if you don't, it's going to read incorrectly, and you don't want that, because you're not really going to know what air to fuel ratio it's actually at. So if this LS, for example, reads 14.7 to, you know, down to 13.8, then that's a pretty good fuel ratio. If, you know, one day you don't reset this thing and it shows 18 and then 16 and then like 9, then you should know that either there's something wrong with the motor, or 99% of the time you didn't reset the gauge. So yeah, now if you're showing readings like that and you've reset this gauge, this wideband gauge, then you have a serious issue, like a vacuum leak or injectors stuck closed or whatever it is, and you need to address it. But I'm going to be resetting this every weekend whenever I do turn this thing on and the car is running and all of that. So yeah, that's how I have it. I'm gonna shut this back off, and as you can see, both of the gauges turned off. So I got some brand new fittings for the catch can and the oil fill cap and all of that, because I was hanging out with James, the guy with the red Trans Am single turbo, and we were just kind of talking about what else I should do to my car and what I shouldn't do to my car and all that stuff. And I showed him some photos, and he was just like, I don't think the way that you routed your catch can was correct, just because you're gonna have so much crankcase pressure anyway. We're either sitting next to the alternator, and if this thing catches fire or something, it's gonna hit this, and then it's just gonna be bad. So let me show you the fittings. Alright, so some of these fittings, actually all these fittings came from Amazon, but some of these are Evil Energy, and then other ones are these Potaville. I think I'm butchering the name really bad, but Performance products. And then this is a 90-degree fitting that right here, and then I got another one here too for this side. The other 90 degree is going to go on the passenger cylinder head where the PCV used to be, which won't be there anymore because I took it off. And then it's down here, and then I got these, and they're all 10 AN, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Also, I got both of these fittings here for the catch can, and I also need some straight fittings, which hopefully I have the straight ones. Not these 90-degree, but they sell ones that are vertical. So I can thread it onto this fitting here, because the other side is going to thread onto the catch can. So I also got a bulkhead here. I may put this bulkhead on, but I actually found this before I found this. But it's a slip-on, not a bulkhead, but like a PCV fitting type 10 AN that slips into the seal on the driver's side valve cover where the PCV used to be. This is probably going to be the last thing that I put on if I put this on, because if I do put this on, I got to take the valve cover off, cut a big hole in it, and all that stuff. Make sure you put some assembly lube or oil around this, that way you don't damage the seal. But it just goes straight into the passenger side valve cover. And then you get a wrench, because that's that's tight. That is tight already. Alright, I'm not going to like clamp on this hard, but I'm just going to try and turn it. So my buddy Shane gave me this 10 AN braided line here, because the one that I have is not long enough to go from the driver's side intake to the catch can. So yeah, and then the other hose that I had, which was somewhere over here, it was too short to go from the oil cap to the catch can. So I'm going to use this line to thread it through that side, and I'm going to have to buy another 90-degree like I said before, because I don't have it right now, and I can't find any more fittings in my toolboxes back there, because I thought I had some, but I don't. So as you can see already, I got Teflon tape on both of the 10 AN fittings, and we're going to try and finish this up later on this week. What we did here, we took some electrical tape, or really any kind of tape, and taped around the braided line, AN line, and we took the cutoff wheel and cut it some, because it was too long, but now it should be the correct size. And then he's just cutting inside there to get these fittings to fit in there a little bit better. Yeah, so what you want to do with this fitting here is just kind of twist and push until it gets all the way to the end, until it bottoms out on the bottom of the fitting there. Okay, simply push this on here. Hang on. Alright, so what you want to do is just push the fitting down and thread it in until it catches some of the threads, and then tighten it down the rest of the way with a wrench or adjustable wrench or whatever. So, and then just tighten it down. Just tighten it down until it stops, and that's it. Now we can go ahead and put this on the car. Now, that should be okay. And then it doesn't really matter how you like mount them on the hose, because these fittings will swivel 360 swivel. That way you can figure out which position you want both of the fittings to be installed on the catch can and then on the valve cover. So let's go ahead and put this on right now. Okay, I had to take the coil packs back off just so I can get back behind here and install that. But it's on, as you can see. It's on that factory valve cover seal where the PCV used to be. And that's it for this install. If y'all like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Greatest Hits. It is getting dark out here and you probably won't be able to see me because I'm black. But anyways, I'm gonna put that back on and move on to other things. So thanks for watching, and like, comment, share. Greatest Hits out.